Hey guys, Delt here. If anyone's ever told you that support classes are bad in solos, they haven't played Dark and Darker. Cleric is the first class that I ever played, and I would highly recommend it to new players. You have a lot of self-sustain and damage mitigation, and it lets you make mistakes while you're learning all of the game's mechanics, except for ranged weapons. So I'm going to be doing a 0 to hero run, and I already did show my songs and skills. I'm also going to be starting with Holy Purification. This is just to help us clear PvE early on, and then later, depending on what gear we get, we can swap that for either Smite or Judgment. Both are good options. Smite is definitely easier and what I would recommend for players who are new to Cleric, but Judgment can be nice too, especially if you're playing in teams as more of a support caster role. As a side note, I'm still going to be playing Bard, but I might pick Cleric a bit more often to give myself small breaks. Anyway, I have 2 games free here starting in Ruins, and I might keep playing more with the same gear that we get, and I'll be posting that too. I hope you enjoy, and if you do, please let me know down in the comments, or give the video a like, or subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks. That intro went a little longer than I was expecting, but I wanted to say all those things. And this is a very good spawn for Cleric. The only thing that Holy Purification doesn't work on is the wisps. If we spawned over closer to the wolves, we'd actually have to do the mechanics and it would take a little bit longer. But I really like this spawn for that reason, and also for the fact that there's a lot of big boxes here to break open. That's one of the Cleric's best ways to get geared up quickly, because their resourcefulness is very low and opening chests and doors is very slow. And I did hear somebody in the graveyard spawn to my south, so after I break these boxes open, I'm just gonna sit down and get my heals back because I messed up right at the start of this game. It's okay, we're playing Cleric. And we did already get a Vigor helm. Hound Schools are probably one of the best helmets for playing Cleric because they give you vigor and they also give you a lot of armor and headshot reduction. And we also got heavy boots, which will actually help us with our clear because our flanged mace right at the start is honestly awful. That's one of the worst things about base kit Cleric. You want to get a better weapon. So other than a better weapon, we're also looking for knowledge gear because I'm overcapped right now and I don't have Holy Light. I know that Holy Light isn't something that I can use to heal myself with, but it is nice at times to be able to clear out like skeleton mages or crossbowmen or archers that are in like bad spots, or if you have multiple mobs around you, it'll at least help you clear those before you melee everything else down. So right here I'm gathering up a bunch of skeletons. I'm gonna Holy Purify, and then I'm just going to flanged mace them down. After that I'll take care of the wisp. The wisps are a little annoying, but they're really easy. You basically just deal with them like an archer. They shoot, you swing 2 times and move around it. They shoot, you swing 2 times and move around it. It'll eventually die. When it dies, it'll blind you, so just quickly turn around and you won't have to deal with that. And now we're back to breaking all the boxes and trying to get as much loot as we can. These plate boots are actually very good for strength, 2 vigor, and some magical damage reduction. The problem is I still need memcap, but I'm going to swap out these 2 boots and hold on to the heavy boots since they have 2 memcap on them. So that way if I get something that will unlock Holy Light for me, I can still have it, but I am going to hold on to these boots because they are good. So again, we're just pulling multiple mobs, we're going to Holy Purify, and then we're going to melee them down. Heavy gauntlets really aren't good. They don't give any stats. They do give some armor, and that's why I'm putting them on, but it's you want to swap those out for either reinforced or riveted gloves, or even rawhides if you can. Kettle hat giving us 3 knowledge. Perfect. That brings us closer to Holy Light. I think with the heavy boots, we actually make it. And I am going to keep the Hound Skull on for now, since I don't have Holy Light and I didn't pick up the boots. I completely forgot that I had those earlier. The quarterstaff will definitely help our clear. I'm deciding to keep the buckler and the mace for later in case I want them to fight like axemans and spearmans, because I don't feel the most confident using the quarterstaff block. I haven't really used it a lot. I'm going to try it first, and I do think I eventually dropped the buckler and mace, but I was a little hesitant to drop them here. We heard a box or a chest break in front of us here, so I'm honestly thinking there's a barbarian behind this wall who just crushed the chest open. So I'm just trying to be a little careful, especially considering we did hear somebody over in the graveyard and they could easily push this way as well. A warlock is pushing over from the graveyard, so I'm glad I kept checking this way. I am casting protection here to get more information. Protection only works on physical damage like a protection pot, but if this is a warlock that has blow of corruption, it will definitely dampen the initial blow. And this warlock looked pretty geared. I still have a base frock. I still have base cloth pants. I don't think I want to take this fight. If by chance I won, it would probably be really good for me, but I'm thinking there's a very small chance I'll win, especially since I have Holy Purification right now as my skill. So instead, I'm just deciding to take the exit that he gave me and back up. He continues to push. If he does, I'll probably just try to hit him with a few holy strikes, scare him off, or maybe even take the fight, but he instead grabs the protection shrine and walks into the graveyard, which gives me another escape to run out again. And he does hit me with Curse of Pain, but I have Perseverance and Protection from Evil, so I'm not super worried about it. Even though he was really geared, it didn't do much damage to me. And he probably was expecting to heal more, since Protection from Evil lowers the duration of the curse. So I'm assuming that he's actually just taking damage from chasing me at this point. And there is another warlock here, but as we get closer, he just backs up behind the door, so I'm not worried about him. I run into the center room with the health shrine because that is where the swarm is, and the swarm is always safety. People don't like to chase you into the swarm, and as a cleric, we have 5 heals, 3 lesser heals, and 2 sanctuaries, so we could just sit in the swarm literally forever. And as I'm clearing that skeleton, I'm realizing that he hasn't continued to chase me, so I'm just going to open this door to my south and see if the downward static is open. If it is, then we're just going to go into Crypts. All of the blocks are broken and the chest was looted. The gate is open, so we're just going to run down, and in between, I'm going to cut it out, but I'm just going to heal up and get all my spells back. I almost said songs again. So now that we're in the Crypts, we're in a pretty good area to loot. We have the church here, we have the pyramids here. I'm actually going to opt to go to the pyramids first. I can Holy Purify all of the bats down and then go down to the royal coffin. And with these Lightfoot boots, we have our Holy Light. We did lose, I think, 4 strength and 2 vigor, but for now it's fine. We'll eventually get some more things and put those boots back on. So now that we're here, we're just going to do exactly what we said. Gather up all the bats, holy purify, check for jewelry, and then go down to the royal coffin because I don't have any lockpicks. As a small side note, if you holy purify or judgment with your book out, it will do more damage because of the base damage on the weapon. With our book right now, it's a 1 damage book. It doesn't really matter, but I still like to do it just so I can remember when I actually have a better book. 2 true fizz, armor, spellcasting speed, pretty good necklace. And again, we're gonna pull out our book, fully purify the mummies, and then smack them down. Dexterity, true fizz, spellcasting cape. We could definitely get better, but as for now, this is pretty good. And we upgraded our frock into an adventure tunic that gives us health and knowledge. Perfect. And the knowledge on the adventure tunic actually let us swap our lightfoot boots out for our old plate boots again, so we're gaining our 4 strength and 2 vigor. For vigor, max health pants to replace our cloth pants. That's also great. There is a war maul in here. Personally, I don't like it. I would much rather have like a flanged mace or a morning star with a shield, but for now I'm just gonna keep the quarterstaff. I end up just taking way too much damage when I use the war maul. I know it does a lot more, but I'd prefer the quarterstaff. I realized that the survival bow really wasn't that great, so I dropped it, and I'm also turning off the lights so I can sit and get my heals back. And here's the gear so far, and then I'm gonna cut out until we get our spells. So now instead of aggroing these skeletons, I'm just going to run back the way that we came. I'm contemplating if I want to go down to Inferno or not, and there is a static right here. I am going to clear the central church though before I decide. Clearing the central area, I'm once again going to do the same thing and pull a bunch of mobs, holy purify, and then melee them down. Holy purify will one-shot the bats, but I'll need to put a couple swings into everything else. I was also expecting the skeleton mage to kill itself, but it's shooting too high to hurt itself. And so after I loot these, I hit it with a holy light, go to hit it with a second one, and then it finally decides to hit itself. So I wasted one, but it's not a huge deal. My holy purification also hit the archer above me. It just didn't walk all the way down the stairs yet, so I'm not deciding to worry about it. And now that it's in this doorway, it's a little awkward. I could Holy Light, but since I know I hit it with Holy Purification, I'm assuming it's just one hit, so I'm just going to do that. And now I'm thinking that I'm going to sit and then go down into the Inferno. After I do that for like 10 or 15 seconds, I did cut it out. I get up and decide, no, I don't want to. I have a quarterstaff. I'd much prefer to have a buckler if I'm down there. So instead, we're running north into the Wraith Room. And there's a skeleton axeman here, so it's time to test my quarterstaff blocks. I did block all of them. The last one, I was just a little too close, so it went through the block anyway. And now we're just going to heal on up real quick and then run across the room. We're going to have to clear a decent amount to actually open the doors because our resourcefulness is too low, but that shouldn't be a huge problem since we have Holy Purification. And again, we Holy Purified, but this time there's an archer, so I'm actually just going to use Holy Light to finish that and then melee the rest of them. And we did hear some portal spawn, so we're feeling pretty okay right now. Right here, I aggroed the Wraith. So after I kill the zombie and the Wraith gets here, I'm just going to run up onto the bridge railing, and then we should just be able to melee it down. And we have some more friends now, and the zone's closing, so once again, we're just going to Holy Purify. This is a really good Regal Gambeson that I would definitely wear. The only problem is that I don't have enough knowledge to take off my adventure tunic right now. If I get knowledge rings or something like that, I can trade out my kettle hat and my tunic for the things in my inventory, but as of right now, I'd rather have Holy Light. That's a nice little will magic healing ring though. And we're out. Time to go next game. I went to buy more coin bags there and realized that I finished the quest that gives me coin bags. So instead I'm just putting everything here and I'll deal with all that after. And going into this game, everything is the same except I traded Holy Purification for Smite in case we run into other melee matchups. This is another fairly decent spawn for Cleric. There's a good amount of breakable boxes and things like that. But for now, have fun watching me struggle to hit this shield skeleton. I really messed up every chance I got here. And we get a Morning Star, and it has magical power, which actually helps out our smite a little bit too. I didn't put it on right away, but after I killed this zombie, I decided to. I was waiting at first for a buckler, but it actually has more weapon damage, and it'll make my smite stronger, so I might as well equip it. Another decent mace to put away for later. And really cool thing about the Morningstar, it one-shots these boxes. You're basically a crushed barbarian, except not really, because it's literally only these square boxes. I was thinking about dropping these 2 green chalices, but then changed my mind because if I get into a fight and I get some good gear, I might just want to leave with it. I honestly feel fairly strong at this point, and I'm not necessarily planning to just hide in the swarm. And we do hear someone on the other side of this wall. I don't know exactly where it is. I'm going to open the door and see if he's there. If not, I'm just going to poke around for him. Now, I thought that I heard a door open here, so I actually walked around and checked to see if it was the door behind the gate. But I'm pretty sure it was just a chest. So now I'm deciding to go back and quickly kill the skeleton right there, so then I have some room, and then I'll engage the other guy. But as I'm clearing that skeleton, he actually runs up to me. Oh, and I never right-clicked, but my lantern bugged here, and I was forced to right-click to throw it. So now we have a warlock here, and he's sort of just dancing back and forth with the longsword out. I cast Holy Strike and hit him with it as he's shutting the door. And here I'm backing up to cast protection in case he runs through with Blow of Corruption. But instead, he just shuts the door again. And now he's trying to run away. I'm honestly just going to chase him. As I'm casting Holy Strike here, I hear him shuffling to the left of the door, so I just let it go a little early. I'm not sure if it hits, but I'm pretty sure it does. Protection wore off and he's pushing me, so I'm trying to recast that. As soon as I get it cast, he shuts the door again. So I go to reopen the door, I hear him healing, and a rogue actually opens up on him and somewhat helps me out. Since he phantomized right there, that Holy Strike really hurt him. And he actually runs through this way and goes to a dead end, so I just Holy Strike one more time for the kill. And now, just to be safe, I'm checking for the rogue, and I'm actually pulling the skeletons out toward where the rogue was. I don't see him, I don't see a dead body, and so I honestly just wrap around the skeletons and shut the door, so that way it's a little bit of protection between me and him. And doing this just gives me a little time to loot the warlock without having to worry, and if I hear the skeletons dying, I can just run up and engage the fight. So we got a really good spellbook upgrade, some nice pants to hold on to, a cape to hold on to, and a really nice longsword for sale. It's going to be 5 fizz power and 3 weapon damage. I don't like to spend too much time in trade chat, so we'll see what we get for it. And now that I'm looting him, since I'm right next to a lion's head, I'm just going to check that chew, and then I'm going to run to one of the static escapes. If it's not open, I can just sit there and heal with Sanctuary. If it is open, we could just leave. And that's another pretty nice cape. I didn't know if it was better than the one I was wearing though, so I didn't equip it right away. I did after the game, after I looked at some of the stats too. I don't know why I started to open this door. It's faster to go the other way, so I stopped and did that. And the static was open, and we're out. So what I was checking here with the 2 capes is this is an agility cape that gives magical damage bonus and action speed. I wanted to see the difference of action speed between this and the dexterity cape, because if I'm swinging faster with True Fizz, that might just be better still at this point. But what I noticed is that this adventure cape actually gives me more action speed than the 2 dexterity, which honestly feels kind of bad. I think that kind of just makes it to where dexterity is a dead stat other than for bards. And as I said before, I don't like to spend too much time in trade chat. I was here for like 30 seconds and listed it for 500 gold and it sold, so we'll take that. I also accidentally clipped it out, but I bought a buckler with 11 armor rating for 100 gold, and we're just going to go through the gear that we got so far, and then I'm going to end the video. So once again, if you learned anything or if you just enjoyed the content, please let me know in a comment, like the video, or subscribe to the channel. Anything and everything helps, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you all have a great day, and peace.